Today, there's a conversation that almost everyone is having, but often in the wrong place. It's the conversation about artificial intelligence, AI, and something even more important that most of us have not been taught how to name, our authentic intelligence. You've probably heard it everywhere. AI is coming for my job. What if AI replaces me? Is there even a place for humans in the future? But what if the real crisis is not what AI can do? What if the real crisis is how disconnected we've become from our own inner wisdom, our own truths, our own authentic intelligence? If I'm honest, I was a part of that conversation. I adamantly refused to engage with AI. Before becoming a coach, I worked as an education specialist in the hair and beauty industry. Now, one day, after a 4-day product education with a new member of staff, they proudly walked into the training room and handed me a product training manual. They said, "I thought this might help you with your work. It's a product manual. I created it last night using AI." I was so offended. I'm an expert in my field with over 30 years experience, and you think I can be replaced by a book created by AI overnight? If that's the case, what was the point of me standing here for the last 4 days sharing my knowledge with you? Now, I'd love to say that there was an epiphany in that very moment. There wasn't. That would come much later. But that story does mark the first point of my true resistance to AI. Artificial intelligence is reshaping how we work, how we lead, and how we live. At the same time, though, stress, anxiety, and burnout are rising. Conversations about mental health and wellness and not feeling like myself are becoming everyday topics. Employers are racing to build wellness into their working days, acknowledging that this is a problem. This video is not about fighting AI. It's about the realization I had around my relationship with AI. I wasn't really scared of AI. I was scared of my lack of connection to me. The one thing that AI can never replace, it's about reclaiming that part of you. That is your authentic intelligence. In an age of artificial intelligence, resistance is futile. AI is here to stay. The question is, are you? If you've ever felt like you're on autopilot, you find yourself scrolling, consuming and doing, but not really feeling alive or grounded, then this is for you. When this video uses the phrase authentic intelligence, it doesn't mean another fancy buzzword. Authentic intelligence is you at your most honest, aware, and aligned. It's the version of you that can pause, notice what you feel, sense what really matters, and then choose in a way that matches your values. Think of it as your inner compass. It's the quiet, steady signal underneath the noise of fear, comparison, and pressure. When that compass is active, your decisions feel cleaner and clearer. You may still have doubts, but you can sense this is me or this is not me. When that compass is quiet or covered over, life can look fine on the outside but feel strangely hollow on the inside. You may have the job, the relationship, the success, the busy calendar, but inside there is a sense of, is this it? Is this really me? That sense was the beginning of my realization. I had a good job, a nice life, great friends, a loving partner. To everyone, it looked like life was good, but to me, every day felt empty. And worse still, I felt guilty for not liking my job. I got to travel internationally, stay in nice hotels, I had a company car, healthcare, blah, 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 but I resented it. I felt like every day I was being forced to show up as someone else. I didn't know it at the time, but what was really going on was that job disconnected me from my values, from my core. I didn't know that because I was so disconnected at this point. I really didn't know what my values were. It's like that feeling you get when you're trying to work something out and you say, "Oh, I just can't put my finger on it right now." Authentic intelligence is not about being perfect, positive, or spiritual. It's about being real. It holds your emotions, your history, your intuition, and your logic together. It lets you say, given who I am and what matters to me, this is the next honest step. Here's a simple way to picture this relationship between AI and authentic intelligence. AI is like a powerful GPS. It's fast, it's clever, it's able to calculate endless routes in seconds. It can say, if you want to go from A to B, then here are the 20 ways to get there. But GPS still cannot choose the destination. It doesn't know what truly matters to you. It does not know where your B is. It does not know your values, your lived experience, or what you're willing and not willing to sacrifice. Authentic intelligence is the destination setter. It's the inner navigator that says, this is my true north, this is my B, this is the kind of life I want to build. This is who I want to be in life. When we feel deeply connected to ourselves, AI becomes a tool, not a threat. We can look at what AI offers and say, thank you, that's helpful, or no, that does not align with who I am. But when we're disconnected, AI starts to look like a judge or a rival. We might think, if a good tool can do this faster, do I still matter? There are many ways we can already see AI benefiting our lives. It's subtle, but it's there in all our lives, from the smartwatch, the phone, the entertainment service making suggestions, and the sat-nav, of course. That will always say there is a better route, so the question becomes less, what will AI do to us? And more, how connected am I to that part of me that decides what truly matters? Now, there is a quiet epidemic running alongside the rise of AI, the epidemic of inner disconnection. It rarely arrives as a dramatic breakdown, and it tends to arrive disguised as busyness, productivity, and relentless striving. On the outside, life looks full. On the inside, it can feel numb, chaotic, or oddly empty. Days can start to blur into each other. You wake up, grab your phone, race through the day, collapse at night, and repeat. Somewhere in there, a thought appears, I can't really complain, but I don't feel fully alive either. The psychologists describe this as misalignment between our conscious goals and our subconscious patterns, and between our stated values and our daily actions. We say we value rest, but we never stop. We say we value connection, but we scroll instead of reaching out. We say we value authenticity, but we keep performing a version of ourselves we think others expect. This misalignment is exhausting. It stretches us between who we are on the inside and who we think we have to be on the outside. And in that stretch, anxiety, stress, burnout, and poor mental health grow. How does this disconnection show up in our lives? Well, endless external solution seeking. When we do not trust our own inner guidance, it's easy to look outside ourselves for rescue. The next course, the next book, the next framework, the next app, the next relationship. Always one thing that might finally fix us online. We're constantly fed these new tools, new programs, new must-have solutions. This can quietly train us to believe the answer is out there, not in here. Believe me, I've been there. The signs are still present: a stack of unread books, a cupboard of half-used supplements, a pile of life-changing journals never started, and online courses and memberships never completed or used, each one promising to fix me, none delivering a fix as good as the hit the buying button gave. I knew that this had to stop. Life can also become a string of obligations without a clear why. You tick boxes, meet deadlines, and keep everyone else happy. But if someone asked, what's your purpose right now? What are your 5 core values? It would be hard to answer. Research on meaning and motivation links a low sense of purpose with burnout and low engagement. When your inner compass is quiet, you may keep moving, but you're not sure where you're going. And that's how I felt. It was like getting in the car, following the directions, but not actually knowing where the sat nav was taking me. Imagine just getting in your car, following the sat nav, but not knowing where you are going, how long it will take, or why you're driving. As I sit here saying this, I can feel how that would feel, and those feelings are familiar. They were not just from driving, they were from life. Without a strong reference point, every decision can feel big and heavy. What to do next, what to prioritize, what to say yes or no to. Neuroscience research shows that constant decision making without clear priorities overloads the brain's executive systems and is linked with mental exhaustion. This is why you might feel completely drained after just a normal day. That's how I felt. I was driving, making endless decisions, but never feeling like I'd arrived anywhere. Procrastination is often treated as laziness, but research now recognizes it as more of an emotional regulation challenge. We delay tasks that trigger discomfort, fear of failure, shame, boredom, and then beat ourselves up for delaying them. This creates a loop. Avoid, feel guilty, self-criticize, feel worse, avoid. Over time, this loop erodes our sense of self-trust. For me, this became binge-watching TV series like my life depended on it. Not educational, usually reality TV, which was ironic because that's exactly what I was avoiding. But that's why we love them. What better way to escape reality than to share in someone else's reality from a safe distance? These patterns don't mean something is wrong with you. They are signals. They are signs that your authentic intelligence is being drowned out by noise, pressure, and old protective habits. So why do we chase external fixes? To understand why we keep looking outside ourselves, it helps to talk about the subconscious. You can imagine your subconscious as a kind of biological AI. It's fast, it's automatic, and it's pattern-based. It's been trained by your entire life, your experiences, your emotional memories, your belief. Most of the time, it runs in the background and takes on tasks beautifully. I use driving a lot as an analogy for this reason. If you drive, you may know that feeling of suddenly realizing you have no memory of the last mile. You were on autopilot and yet you stayed on the road. That's how capable our subconscious is, but it has limits. Its primary concern is safety, not fulfillment. So when anxiety, shame, or fear appear, the subconscious tries to protect you. It steers you towards what feels safe and away from what feels emotionally risky. Now, this shows up in at least three ways: emotional avoidance, choosing distraction, and implicit self-doubt, believing others know better than you, habitual procrastination and distraction, reaching for immediate comfort over long-term alignment. At the start of launching my coaching business, I experienced this. Starting a new business and career was exciting, but it felt overwhelming. There was anxiety. Would this work? Had I made the right decision? My subconscious kicked in, and one day I downloaded a game on my phone. I don't even know why. It was a game where you build a town and complete challenges and move up levels. It seemed pretty innocent until you get your phone report and it tells you that it consumed 40 plus hours of your time in a week. From the outside, this can look like chronic consumption: more tools, more tips, more information, more time on games. From the inside, it's your subconscious trying to keep you safe, using outdated strategies. For me, this was avoidance combined with a short-term sense of success at a time when I felt like I was failing. We would never expect an early version of AI model to run the modern world without updates, yet most of us are still running subconscious software that was written years ago in our childhood and teenage years. in very, very different circumstances. The question is not, am I running a model? We all are. The question is, which model am I running, and does it reflect who I am now and the life I want to live? With this inner landscape in view, the distinction between artificial intelligence and authentic intelligence becomes clearer. Artificial intelligence refers to systems that learn patterns from data and use those patterns to classify, predict, or generate outputs. AI is brilliant at analyzing large data sets, recognizing complex patterns, automating repetitive tasks, working at high speed without fatigue. With the exception of analyzing large data sets, the subconscious is very good at recognizing patterns, automating tasks, and working quickly in the background. It still needs conscious awareness, though, for deep analysis and values-based choice. Just like AI, humans need guidance to decide what really matters. AI does not have consciousness, emotion, or moral agency. It does not understand in the way humans do. It operates on correlations, not lived meaning. Authentic intelligence, by contrast, is profoundly human. It's grounded in self-awareness and reflection, emotional depth and empathy, lived experience, contextual judgment, values, and purpose. Now, research on human AI collaboration suggests something powerful. The best outcomes come when human judgment leads the AI and AI supports, not when one tries to replace the other. So a helpful way to hold this is authentic intelligence is the conscious driver. Artificial intelligence is the powerful engine. Without a conscious driver, even the best engine can take us somewhere harmful. With authentic intelligence at the wheel, AI can help accelerate what truly matters. This similarity between our subconscious and AI can also explain how we as humans are not operating effectively when we're not using both our conscious and our subconscious. When we come off autopilot and stop following a destinationless sat-nav and combine the powers of intelligence of both our conscious and subconscious, that is authentic intelligence. To make this practical, let's look at a framework that I designed called the 9 Principles of Authentic Living. These are awareness, understanding, trust, honesty, empowerment, nurture, transformation, integrity, and compassion. You can think of these as ways to strengthen your authentic intelligence and reconnect your conscious and subconscious mind. So, awareness is the willingness to notice your thoughts and emotions, body sensations, behaviors, but without immediately reacting or judging. It's the moment you step out of autopilot and into the driver's seat. Question: what are you feeling and doing right now, and what are you using to avoid yourself? For me, the turning point was just over 5 years ago. I was on autopilot, but a specific type auto survival pilot mode. I remember sitting in my office, staring at the computer screen. The pandemic had been challenging, trying to keep a business afloat. Then, post-pandemic, came the final breakup of an abusive relationship, the loss of my staff team, 2 who went to prison, 1 died of a brain tumour, and another had to go to rehab. I was clear of it all, but still automatically fighting. With awareness, I gave myself space to pause. Then came understanding. It goes beyond noticing and asks, why is this here? It explores the stories, experiences, and needs underneath your patterns. Instead of, I am broken, it becomes, I make sense given what I've lived through. Now, this shift invites compassion instead of judgment. Here's a question for you. What are your reactions, habits, or emotions trying to protect you from or communicate right now? Next is trust, and it's about rebuilding confidence in your own inner signals. It shifts you from every answer is out there to I can listen to myself. When you trust yourself, AI and external tools become resources, not authorities. They inform your choices without replacing your inner leadership. Here's the thing, make one small decision today based primarily on your inner knowing and consciously stand behind it. Once I stopped being in survival mode, I understood that I wasn't broken and I hadn't failed. I started to hear the inner voice again. What it said was quite scary, but each day it got louder until I could no longer ignore it. Despite how crazy it may have seemed, trust allowed me to make a decision at 49 years of age to walk away from a business that I had built over 16 years and an industry I had loved for over 30, and I started again. Honesty comes next. Now, honesty is telling the truth to yourself. First, it means acknowledging where you are out of alignment, where fear is driving you, and where you're pretending. Without honesty, change is cosmetic. Now, with honesty, real change becomes possible. Sometimes honesty sounds like, I say I value my health, but I'm actually eating a diet that destroys it. This was very true for me. I was part of the obesity epidemic and had eaten my way to type 2 diabetes. There are two truths here. One, it's genetic. It was bound to happen. It's not my fault. It's my genetics. Not actually the full truth. Yes, my genes loaded the gun, but my habits pulled the trigger. The honest truth was, Jody, you need to correct your diet and manage your lifestyle to honor the value you say you place on your health. Now, I needed to do something about that, and empowerment is about moving from life is happening to me to I'm an active participant in my life. It focuses on where you have choice and influence. Even when circumstances are hard, instead of I'm going to lose 10 kilos, it becomes I'm a healthy person who cares about my body and makes choices aligned with that identity. In the age of AI, empowerment means you choose how, when, and why you use technology, instead of feeling at its mercy. In terms of authentic intelligence, it means engaging both your conscious and your subconscious to move forward towards what you really want. Here's a question for you. What is one choice that is genuinely yours to make this week? Now, nurture is the principle of caring for yourself physically, emotionally, and mentally. It is the antidote to self-neglect and self-punishment. It recognizes that big changes are built from many small ones. When you nurture those small shifts, you begin to master the art of compound change. I had struggled with my weight and body image my entire life. But when I let go of goals orientated purely in measurement, I want to lose 5 stone, eagerly getting on the scales, watching every pound come on or go off, and instead nurtured small changes that aligned to my value of health, everything changed. I nurtured that value and it grew so big that over a year, I lost 5 stone and got rid of type 2 diabetes. Most importantly, I'd built in so many small changes, new habits, that it was clear I was never going back. Transformation is the willingness to change from the inside out. It means letting go of outdated identities, stories, and habits. So a truer version of you can emerge. Like the art of kintsugi, where broken pottery is repaired with precious metals, your cracks are not evidence that you are beyond repair. They become part of your unique design. I ask you this, who are you becoming as you live these principles more fully? Integrity is alignment between your values and your words, and most importantly, your actions. It creates an internal coherence where you know who you are and can rely on yourself. With integrity, it becomes easier to set boundaries and to say no most importantly, without guilt, because your decisions are anchored in your values, not in people pleasing. It's the way you are acting consistent with what you say. What matters most to you? For me, this was authenticity. I realized I valued it so much that it made sense of so many periods of my life where I was unhappy. What I realized was I was either in an environment or surrounded by people who were not authentic, true, or honest. I also realized that when this was challenged, my inner desire to protect it didn't bring out the best in me. So the lesson was that authenticity was a non-negotiable value that was not worth any compromise. And finally, compassion. It's the steady kindness that holds all of the other principles together. It softens the harsh inner critic and creates the safety required for real change. Without compassion, awareness can turn into a self-attack. With compassion, awareness becomes the first step towards healing. Next time you notice a pattern you don't like, try replacing "what's wrong with me" with "of course I learned this. What do I need now?" This inward compassion now fuels my constant forward direction. Even in the face of challenges, it reminds me to pause and say, it's okay. What am I really seeing and feeling? What am I thinking right now? Which principle do I need to move beyond this? Most importantly, it always reminds me that the real joy is the journey in the present moment. We have many smaller destinations on our lifelong journey, but we all share one same final destination. What we don't know is how long the journey really is. Compassion reminds me to love myself and my journey in the moment where I am. It's exactly where I'm meant to be. This understanding allowed me to walk away from a job that on the surface was amazing, but the environment made me so unhappy. Because I understood why I could make the decision to leave more easily, I knew what was really at stake. Public conversation about AI often focuses on the fear of loss of control, ethical risks, erosion of human value. Now, these concerns matter at policy design level, but at personal level, fear of AI often mirrors a more intimate fear. If I'm not connected to myself, then what makes me irreplaceable? When authentic intelligence is underdeveloped, AI looks like a competitor. When authentic intelligence is alive and grounded in these 9 principles, AI becomes a tool you choose. How to use? Remember, AI itself is a product of human imagination, curiosity, and problem solving. Humans created AI. The invitation now is to raise the level of authentic intelligence that guides how we use what we have built. Technology will continue to evolve, and probably faster than we expect. That is the part we cannot control. What we can control is how we meet it, and we can meet it from disconnection, outsourcing our decisions, ignoring our inner life, living on autopilot. Or we can meet it from authentic intelligence, integrating subconscious and conscious, and using both authentic intelligence and artificial intelligence together to expand, not replace our humanity. So as you finish this video, take a moment to breathe and ask yourself, am I fearful of AI, or am I disconnected from my authentic self? Where am I ignoring my own awareness, understanding, or trust, and handing my power to external solutions? What is one small step I can take this week that reflects honesty, empowerment, nurturing, transformation, integrity, or compassion in a very concrete way? When you live these questions, authentic intelligence stops being a concept and becomes a way of being. From there, artificial intelligence is not your replacement, it's your tool. And authentic intelligence is what makes you irreplaceable. If this resonated with you, feel free to share in the comments which principle you are being invited to learn from right now.